It's the year 1025, and the Roman Empire is still alive, not in the West. Of course, that world is gonna butt in the East. Ruled from Constantinople, the empire that calls itself Roman stands at the height of its power. Under Emperor Basil II, known to history as the Bulgar Slayer, the Byzantines dominate the Balkans, control key trade routes, and possess a professional, disciplined army funded by a stable tax system. When Basil II dies, he leaves behind a full treasury, secure borders, and no serious rivals. He also leaves behind no capable heir. What follows is not immediate collapse, but something far more dangerous: complacency. Over the next few decades, the empire is ruled by weak emperors, court politicians, and aristocrats more interested in luxury than defense. Military land grants are stripped from soldiers and absorbed by elites. The army shrinks, not because threats disappear, but because maintaining it is expensive. And like Rome before it, Byzantium begins to outsource its security. Mercenaries, Normans, Pechenegs, Turks are hired to fight the empire's wars. They are effective, but loyal only to gold. When the gold runs out, so does their loyalty. Meanwhile, a new power is rising in the east. The Seljuk Turks, nomadic warriors turned empire builders, sweep across Persia and into Anatolia, the Byzantine heartland, its primary source of manpower and taxes. In 1071, the unthinkable happens. At the Battle of Manzikert, Emperor Romanos IV is captured. The defeat itself is survivable, but what follows is not. Civil war erupts. Rival emperors tear the empire apart from within, while Turkish warbands flood into Anatolia almost unopposed. Within a generation, Byzantium loses most of Asia Minor. The empire survives, but it is crippled. Desperate, Emperor Alexios I turns to the west for help. His request for mercenaries triggers something far bigger than intended. The Crusades? At first, they help. Territory is recovered. Trade revives. Constantinople grows rich again, so rich, in fact, that it attracts envy. Latin merchants dominate Byzantine commerce. Western crusaders resent the city's wealth, its sophistication, its very existence. And in 1204, the unthinkable happens again. A Christian army, diverted from its mission, sacks Constantinople. The greatest city in Europe is looted, burned, and butchered. Relics are stolen, palaces destroyed. The empire is carved into pieces by its supposed allies. This is the moment Byzantium never truly recovers from. Though the Byzantines retake the city in 1261, what they reclaim is a shadow. The population is smaller. The treasury is empty. The walls still stand, but the world around them has changed. Trade has shifted to Italian hands. The army is tiny. The countryside is depopulated. And once again, the empire relies on mercenaries to survive. Meanwhile, yet another power rises: the Ottoman Turks. They surround Constantinople slowly, methodically, taking city after city. The Byzantines play diplomacy, pitting rivals against one another, surviving year by year, but they control little more than the capital itself. By the 15th century, the empire is effectively a city-state. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II arrives with an army dwarfing anything the Byzantines can muster. Cannons, new weapons of terrifying power, are brought against walls that had stood for 1,000 years. For weeks, Constantinople holds. Then, on May 29, the walls are breached. Emperor Constantine XI casts aside his imperial regalia and charges into the fighting. His body is never conclusively identified. Constantinople falls. The last Roman Empire, survivor of a millennium of crises, disappears not with a single mistake, but with a long chain of compromises, betrayals, and short-term solutions. And yet, as with Rome, its legacy outlives it. Byzantine law shapes Europe. Its scholars help ignite the Renaissance. Its capital becomes Istanbul, the heart of another empire. The world moves on. But for over 1,000 years, when the West fell, when the old world burned, Rome endured not in name alone, but in spirit.